Next time you're at Dollar Tree, head on to the plate aisle because they have such a wide selection of plates and chargers you can use in your home and also for crafting. I found this one that I have used before and the texture is amazing. They have gone up in price since the last increase, but I still think it's a pretty good deal for the size. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to start painting the center. I'm not worried about having a very straight line around the circle, but I do want it to be as circular as possible. I am using Waverly chalk paint in the white, but of course you can use any color you want depending on the color scheme you're choosing. Once dry, I am going to mute that edge line just a little bit by sanding it down. This is just going to make it nice and smooth and not so sharp. I'm going to dust it well and add one layer of Mod Podge. I'm just going to spread it around nice and evenly and put it to the side to dry. While that is drying, I'm going to take one of the pages of this beautiful calendar. It's a new one for 2026. This fall one is gorgeous. The pumpkin color is stunning. I'm going to cut out just the pumpkin and the grateful part from the top. I'm going to do it very carefully with my X-Acto knife. I did change the blade because when I'm doing this with paper, it helps if it's very sharp. Again, I'm also going to do the grateful. Now for the grateful part, I'm not worried about it being directly on the line of the letter. I just want it to be as close as possible. Although the paper is white, it will blend pretty well with the plate. Alright, so now we are going to put everything together on the plate. I'm going to start by placing the pumpkin as well as the grateful right over it. I know by now you know this technique. Basically, you just let the Mod Podge dry, place your design, add parchment paper, and iron it. The heat will activate the Mod Podge and it will attach seamlessly with no bubbles. I'm going to add a little bit of Mod Podge in between the two pieces of paper just because it didn't have any Mod Podge there. All right, now it's time to add florals. Now I want to keep it in that kind of like teal, bluish, white, beige kind of tone. I think it's beautiful. I'm going to start with some of these white leaves and I'm just going to add a couple to each side with a little bit of hot glue. Then I'm just going to start layering in different types of florals. Again, keeping in that nice kind of teal, light green, blue, white theme. I got these cattail picks last year on Amazon and I love them. They're actually real and they just snap nice and easy and I think it really complements the entire design. I added a couple little extra small leaves and that's it. We're keeping this one pretty simple. You can add a hanging hook to the back or you can place it on a frame display. Whatever you want. I think this is gorgeous. The colors are stunning for fall, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take wreath forms in the shape of pumpkins. Now, these are not from Dollar Tree, although you can find them at Dollar Tree. I found these at the thrift store for 99 cents. I am going to spray them gold. This is just a Rust-Oleum spray paint, and I'm just going to do this color because I already have it here on hand. You can do silver, you can leave them black, you can do white, whatever color you want is fine. One coat in the front and on the inside as well. I'm letting that dry and now we're going to start with this beautiful blue plate. I have worked with this one before and it is stunning. I love the color and I think it works well pretty much for every season and holiday. I'm going to place a piece of scrap wood underneath it because I want to drill a couple of holes. I'm just going to do them 2 on each side, about 1 inch apart. I'm going to use some floral foam. I'm just going to cut these 2 pieces in half and hot glue them right over the holes that I just drilled. Then I'm going to take a screwdriver and I'm just going to poke through the holes through the front. That way I know exactly where it is. All right, now I'm going to join both pumpkins that are now dry with some zip ties from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to do a couple here and there. I don't want to overwhelm it and it be just too noticeable. So just a few will do the work. Now the plan is to get this attached onto the foam. This took me a little while to figure out, so I'm going to try to explain as best as I can. So the foam is attached and I threaded zip ties through the holes and I'm just going to tighten it. At first I thought this would be sufficient. It was not. It was still tilting. So then I'm going to hot glue the leftover pieces of foam right over it, thinking this might work, but it didn't. It was still swiveling. So now I place my water bottle there to hold it so it didn't tilt over. But I drill one more hole on each side of the foam, threaded 2 zip ties together. That worked. It just tightened everything. All right, now we're going to add some moss. This is just moss that I had left over from the summer season. You can also use Spanish moss if you have that instead. I'm just going to carefully hot glue all around the foam. This is just going to cover everything up, make it nice and pretty and kind of rustic and that natural tone. Once everything was covered, then it's time to start applying florals and embellishments. I want to start with 3 pumpkins. I think these will complement the plate and just overall look. I'm going to add this blue one from Dollar Tree right there in the center. And then these white ones I got in a pack on Amazon, but I think Dollar Tree carries some white ones as well. I'm going to hot glue them to each other as well as onto the moss and just kind of hold them until it hardens. Now it's time to add all kinds of florals. I'm going to try to keep it nice and steady here, but I'm going to just kind of move quickly because I just kept adding them all around, just making sure that I kind of like what I see. Just pick a color scheme and just keep adding as you see fit. Adding a little bit of hot glue on the stem will hold everything together. Now I want to add a bow to the top of the pumpkin wreath form, so I'm just going to make a multiple loop bow here with these 2 ribbons from Dollar Tree. I think it complements the design beautifully. Tie it in the center with some jute string, and we're just going to fluff it as needed and attach it to the top. That's going to cover up those zip ties at the top, and I dovetail cut the ribbon. How gorgeous. You can add candles, like full candles. You can add fairy lights. I think it would make a great centerpiece, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take one of these plaid plates. Again, one I've worked with before, but I want to do a fall one. I'm going to mark 2 little dots here in the center, about 1.5 inches apart, and drill a couple of holes again on this one. Now I'm going to hot glue this round foam right over the holes, right nice and centered. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier and just poke the holes through the foam so I know where they're at. Now I'm going to thread this white zip tie from the front to the back and then back to the front. And then we're just going to attach it. This is just going to make that foam nice and sturdy, and it's not going to go anywhere. This beautiful sunflower is one that I've had for days, probably months. And I'm just going to add it right there in the center. Just add hot glue and push it in. This one's actually from Walmart. I'm going to add several picks. These are all from Dollar Tree, the ones that I'm going to add around. And I'm going to try to keep it in the 3s. So 3 of each. This is just a nice number. Spread it around evenly. Again, adding a little bit of hot glue in the stem. And then just keep adding them. This is just going to add a lot of color, a lot of foliage, and really fill up that middle section. I want to add some ribbon. We're just going to add the same ribbon from earlier, and we're going to make 3 little very simple bows. Simple because you won't even tell that they're bows. Once I have them made, I'm just going to cut off the jute string, and then I'm just going to fold them in half. You see that? And then I'm going to add hot glue right there in the back and squish it in. This is just going to add a different texture, design. I want to add it that. Instead of a bow, I just think it looked kind of cute. All right, so this is what I was talking about. This is a frame display. You can add pictures, plates. They sell them at Dollar Tree, and I love displaying the plates right on there. So easy, but you can add something in the back to be able to hang them. I love this one. The colors, the plate, oh my word, I love it. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with my Cricut Joy. And I know a lot of you may not have a Joy or a Cricut. You can simply just use the carbon paper method that I have shown many times before. And of course, you can choose whatever phrase or words you want to add. And yes, we're going to use the same plate from earlier because it's gorgeous and I love that faux wood texture it has. So we're going to dust it really well. And then after I had weeded out all the excess vinyl, I'm just going to attach letter by letter the phrase "Hello Fall" right onto the center of the plate. And I'm just going to do it like stickers. I'm going to lightly place them. That way I can move them if I need to. Once I have them in a place where I want them, I'm just going to start pressing them with my fingers. I'm going to bring my drill and a drill bit. I'm just going to start drilling holes kind of like around the Hello Fall decal. And I did enough to fit these fairy lights. Not all the fairy lights are going to fit, but I did end up drilling even more holes and adding one more set of fairy lights because I wanted to have more lights, but you can use only one if you want. I'm just going to fold the wire really close to each little light bulb, and we're just going to place them right inside the hole. Now, as you can tell, not all the lights are being used, and that's okay. But I am going to drill more holes because I do want more. And I'm going to use masking tape to hold it in place, and that way it's not going to slip and slide and come out of the hole. Now, I'm going to keep doing this until all the holes are filled. I attached the battery pack to the plate using hot glue as well. I cannot wait to show you how this looks. All right, so we're going to take a piece of foam. This is from Dollar Tree. We're going to hot glue it to the bottom of the plate, and we're just going to start adding florals. The florals are really going to complement the Hello Fall very nicely, and I'm going to hot glue and keep adding as needed. I'm going to add these yellow ones that I think truly brought everything together. Look how gorgeous this is. And not only does it look great during the day, but at night it has such a beautiful glow. Love, love, love the way this one turned out. But let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take this beautiful orange ceramic plate. It's a dessert kind of type of plate. I'm going to take one of these window clings. Now, you know I love using these as well for crafting, and I have a ton left over from last year's season. This autumn one is gorgeous, and I'm just going to place it right there because the plate has this very shiny finish to it. It attaches so good. It's probably one of the best crafts with these clings. You can't even tell that the cling is there. All right, moving on. I'm just excited. All right, so I want to take one of these wooden stems from Dollar Tree. Now, it has a lot of like imperfections, and I love it. So I'm going to leave it just like this and attach a popsicle stick to the back. Reinforce it really good with hot glue. And then we're going to cut off the excess because we want to attach it and kind of give it a pumpkin look. The plate is orange. You can't blame me for making it a pumpkin. But of course, you can skip the stem portion if you want. Once attached, again, I'm going to reinforce it just a little bit with the hot glue. And then we're just going to start making little bows. Now, this is raffia, but of course you can use ribbon, jute string, whatever you have on hand is fine. I'm going to wrap it around my fingers a few times, tie it in the center with some jute string, remove the excess, and then we're just going to hot glue it underneath the stem, just right there. I'm going to layer another ribbon, and I'm going to use this pumpkin ribbon from Dollar Tree. It's a thin one. I'm going to make a very simple bow, tie it in the center again with jute string, and then hot glue it right there in the center on top of the other bow. And we're going to add one more of those little acorns right there. Now, again, you can display this on one of those picture holders or a plate holder, but I love, 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 love the way this one turned out. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I have another video here for you with tons more of Dollar Tree DIY crafts inspiration. Check it out. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.